Okay, today we're going to learn how to make a flower inside of Illustrator. No stress, no stress. There's some steps you need to follow just to make it perfect. Just listen, and I'll tell you which keys to hold down, when to hold them down, and things like that. I've been doing this flower as a demonstration in classes for over almost 20 years now. So I do it. I hopefully it works out for you. In this case, I'm going to alter my colors before I start. Now, one of the things, we were making rectangles, circles, and squares before, and we had a 7-point stroke, and we had a red stroke, and a orange. All this I don't want. My flower, I want to be nice and simple. How about we do a yellow petal with a black line around it with a 2-point stroke. That's what I want. So we're going to make I don't know what those kind of flowers are, with little petals that go around a little circle in the center. Nice and simple. Okay, nice and simple. Now, before we start, we're going to make a petal. Okay, so we start making a flower. We're going to start with the petals and then make the circle on the inside. So to make a petal for a flower, I'm going to use the ellipse tool. Okay, ellipse tool. To draw an ellipse, I'm not going to draw a perfect circle. If you remember from the last couple of videos, we were making perfect circles by holding down the Alt key and Shift key. This time I'm not. I'm just going to use the ellipse tool, and I'm going to draw an ellipse. Remember, it draws from the upper left to lower right is usually how I do it. So I'm going to start kind of in my artboard, sort of towards the top here, and I'm not going to make it super big. I'm going to make it about that big. That looks like a petal, flower petal. I hope it does. And then again, always go back to your black arrow when you're done so that you can move it to where you want it on the screen. So after you draw anything, always go back to the black arrow. Now, when I want my petal to kind of go around my object, I'm going to change my point a little bit. I want it to be kind of spiky down here. What do you mean by spiky? Is that you'll see the top is nice and round at the top. And then we're going to zoom in. Oh, what was the keys to zoom in? Control plus, Control plus. And then to move the screen around, we use what? We use the space bar to give us a hand. Look at that. Space bar gives us a hand, and we can move a left mouse. I'm using the left mouse to move around. Okay, again, zoom in, space bar, move around. Okay. So in this case, I can then click on and off, on and off, on and off. Okay. This case, you see the round top here and a round bottom here, but I don't want it round here. I want it to be kind of sharp, kind of a sharp here. So if you look closely at an object, I'm going to zoom in even a little closer. I'm going to zoom in, zoom in. You don't have to do this now. You're just listening and watching. You'll notice when I have something selected, if we click on it, you'll notice there is see, there's like a little dot down here. Okay, and you'll see there's a little dot here. There's a little dot there. There's a little dot there. And there's a little dot there. Each one of these dots are called points, and these points are either corner points or anchor points. In this case, these are all anchor points. Why are they anchor points? Because they have round edges. You can see this is called a path. We're learning complex stuff right now. This is called a path. It's a line that goes from one point to the other point, and this one is kind of curvy like this, and so it's called a corner, or it's called a anchor point. A corner point would be straight. If you want to go from this point to this point straight, we would make this a corner point, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to actually change this one down here at the bottom to what we call a corner point and not an anchor point. How do we do that? Is we have a point changing tool. Okay, a point changing tool. That point changing tool is located under the pen. It's kind of complex, but don't get stressed. Okay, remember there was multiple objects underneath the rectangle tool, right? Okay, well, under the pen tool, which is the second one down on the left side here when I have my toolbar at double, if I click and hold the mouse down over top of the pen, hold it down, you'll see there's a pen tool, add a point, delete a point, convert point. See it right here? It's called the convert anchor point tool. If I choose the convert anchor point tool, again, it's located at the bottom of the list of the pen tool. I come over here. I'm just going to click once. I'm just going to click once right on that little blue dot that's towards the bottom here. There's a little blue dot right here. If I click once on it, boom, it changes it to a spike. Okay, and always go back to the black arrow when you're done. Okay, so again, It's this tool. It's located at the bottom of the pen tool. I'm going to go and click on the bottom point here. Click once, let my mouse up, and then go back to my black arrow and then zoom out again. It's Control minus. Whew, I know that was hard. Don't stress. Okay, so we have one. It looks a little bit better like a flower petal then, instead of round on both sides. If you want to leave it round on both sides and not use the corner point thing, hey, that's all cool with me. It doesn't really matter. I just thought that this would look a little bit more like a flower petal if it was spiky on one side and rounder on the other side. Okay, the next features. Oh, no, this is going to be this is probably the hardest part of the whole thing. What I want to do is I want to duplicate this all the way around in a circle. Okay, so basically it's going to go, I'm going to put one, I'm going to take this one and rotate it here, 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 here. It's going to go all the way around until it gets back to the beginning. To do that, we're going to use the rotate tool and the duplicate. Do you remember when we were duplicating rectangles? What was the key on the keyboard when we were duplicating rectangles? The Alt key, or of course, if you're a Mac user, Command key. In this case, I'm going to rotate and duplicate and then transform over and over again. What is he saying? Well, these are steps. Now, one of the things you need to think about inside of Illustrator is we're going to be doing things that do step over and over and over again. Illustrator is like a repeating tool. It's a great drawing application to repeat things over and over and over again. Do you remember how I made that pattern with the rectangles by duplicating multiple rectangles? Well, it's the same idea here. I've made one flower petal and I'm just going to duplicate it multiple times to give me the other flower petals, but I want it to rotate before I duplicate. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate, rotate, duplicate, rotate, duplicate. To do this, sorry, everybody keeps calling me. Okay, here's the step. Again, we want to duplicate this petal. I'm going to use the rotate tool. Now by default, oops, I made a mistake already. You want to make sure that the entire object is selected before you go to the rotate tool. If you remember, the selection part is the black arrow that's up here. I want to click off and then on the entire object. If you just have one point selected, it thinks you want to rotate the point. I don't want to rotate the point, I want to rotate the whole petal here. So again, before you go to the rotate tool, which you can see inside of the toolbar, I'm going to click off and I'm going to click on my object so the entire thing is selected. Next, I'm going to go to my rotate tool, which is this one. Now, by default, it thinks you want to rotate from the very beginning. So watch me make a mistake. Oh, I want to rotate. Click. Oh, it's rotating from the middle. Remember the undo? Control Z. Okay, so I don't want to do that. I want to use the rotate tool. You'll notice, and let me zoom in a little bit here. You can't really see, but there is a little plus right in the middle of my object. This is kind of the rotate center. Where is it going to rotate? Now, I don't want it to rotate around the center of this. I want to rotate it around an imaginary center somewhere down here. In fact, I'm gonna move it way down here. Not actually here, but down a little bit because I want it to kind of go around the center point here. So for each petal to kind of rotate from down here. So again, make sure you got to do the steps just right or this will not work, okay? And even in my classroom, not even in online class, but in the classroom, a lot of people can't get this to work. So just follow with me and you might have to rewind and try this multiple times. Again, let's start from the beginning. Deselect my object. Use the black arrow. Click on the object. Go to the rotate tool. Put your cursor right in the middle, right over top of that little plus. It should say center when you get there. I'm going to click on that and move it all the way down here towards the center. How am I moving it? It doesn't know you're moving it, but you did move it. Okay, you just click and move it and you'll see, oh, there should be a little blue thing way down there. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. You can see a little blue rectangle. If you haven't done it, the easiest thing to do is start over. Use the black arrow, click off, click on, go to the rotate tool, click and try and put it down here. Again, if you don't get it down here, again, the easiest way to do is start over. Use the black arrow, click on the black arrow, click off, click on, use the rotate tool, grab your little blue thing in the center here and drag it straight down if you can. I know it's hard. Using the left mouse, hold down shift key down will keep it in proportion. Shift key will keep it so it doesn't flap around. Move it down there. Immediately, once you have it down there, first thing I want you to do, once you put your little blue thing down here, the center option for where it's going to rotate, put your cursor inside of the object somewhere towards the top up here. I'm going to now hold down the Alt key, or again, it's the Option key on a Mac, and I'm going to use my left mouse, and I'm going to click and hold it down, holding the left mouse down. I'm going to rotate my petal. I'm holding the Alt key down and the left mouse down, and I'm moving it. I'm going to let the left mouse up before I let the Alt key up. I'm going to try and give a nice even. Let's see here, 30. It's a nice even number, 30. You notice it should have duplicated your petal. If you didn't duplicate it, most likely you probably left the Alt key up before you left the left mouse up. That's a common problem. If you try to keep it in a nice even angle, it might turn out even all the way around. If not, it's going to be a little messed up at the end, but that's okay. After you've done that, don't click on anything. Don't do anything. You want to hold down the Control T, I believe it is. No, it's not T. Control, what is it? It's the, what is the, not transform. I'm trying to remember what I want to do next. D for duplicate, maybe. Yeah, there we go. Control D, 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 D. I'm holding the Control D down. There you go. See, I didn't do it quite perfect. You'll notice. See, it kind of screwed up at the end. Okay, let's undo and do it over again. Okay, let me start over. Again, let's do it all over from scratch. I'm going to use the black arrow. I'm going to click on my object. I'm going to use the rotate tool. I'm going to take the little center point that we have here and drag it straight down. Holding the shift key down will keep it so it's nice and aligned perfectly. Next, I'm going to immediately put my cursor inside of the petal, and I'm going to hold the Alt key down, and I'm going to click and drag. I'm going to go to 35%. Let's see if that works. 35%. Yeah, 35%. I think somewhere around there. 35-degree angle. That's what I'm doing. I don't know if that's going to work or not. Don't let the Alt key up. I'm going to let my left mouse up. Woo! And then let my Alt key up. Now I'm going to do, what was the key again? It was D, I believe it was. Control D. Control D. Control D. Control D. Control D. D, D, D. That was better. Woo! Not perfect. See a little bit of an angle there. But hey, that's close enough for me right now. I guess I could undo it again and probably do a little bit rotate, maybe 36 degrees. But something like that. So as you can see, if I zoom out, you get some nice flower petals. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do is we'll practice that, and I'll pause this video and make another one about how to decorate it and make it look beautiful.